So I'm here with my friend and my guru and my teacher, Dr. Morse. Um, and we're going to talk about, I don't know, we're just going to talk about,
We just talked about it.
I know, but health, spirituality, and more about Dr. Morse. So I don't know, let's just see. We did talk about a lot. I don't have anything left. No, I'm
Isn't
just
that funny? Because there's nothing else to
But I
talk
figured
about. We've been
there is
talking
no.
about how, as an individual, you wake up. How do
Yeah.
you find out who you really are? You're looking at Dr. Morse, the physical body, right? But then we know at a certain time, I'm going to lay this thing down. I'm going to leave it, right? Thank God, right? So then, who am I then? All right. So there's different levels of this. Who am I? Right? And we were just talking about it. The true level of yourself is the infinite. Is what we call consciousness in quantum physics. We call it intelligence because there's no definition of this stage. There's no I'm here and God's over there, or I'm here, you're over there. It doesn't happen that way. The infinite is the infinite. Everything is within the infinite. It's within consciousness, and you come out of that not physically, or maybe you could say physically. You could say all that because creation can't be outside of the infinite. Nothing can be outside of the infinite.
Everything.
I think that's how the infinite feels itself and understands itself is through creation. I've always said that because we were talking about this earlier, that God can't experience itself. Consciousness can't experience itself because it's totally in the present moment. There's no thought, there's no divisions, there's no separations. Hard to understand, you have to experience it. And when you do, the nirvana and ecstasy level in your world goes sky high.
Yeah.
Because you now have hooked to the infinite. You are totally, and let me use the word free. You're totally free from thoughts, from emotions, from all the sickness and all the things that people deal with on all levels. You're free from it.
It's like the Buddha thing when you're not bound by anything, emotional, physical ailments,
Or emotional
thoughts.
or
Yeah.
mental, because you've got those other bodies too. The physical is just a physical body, but it also is a house that brings down the emotions. Your adrenal glands brings in your astral body, and you get into your heart chakra. You bring into the cosmic, the universal mind part of it. So you got all these components that you use, and you keep using after you leave this body. When you lay down your physical body, you're still going, but you're in your astral body unless you have developed yourself to be conscious, and then you go on up to the consciousness. You are now free, totally, and that's what your gig is. It's just there's so much to the spiritual worlds. It's just unbelievable. We're just one little experience here, then another one, and another one, and another one. Same thing with thoughts. There's one thought and another thought and another thought. But what's real? What's real? The physical isn't real. You're going to be leaving your body, but you're still there. Wait a minute. I'm still here, but I don't have a physical body anymore. What body do I have? I've been in the astral. We all have these bodies already in us. You've been in your mental body. Every time you start thinking, you're in your mental body. When you start feeling and emotions, you're in your astral body. You're not in your physical body. This body doesn't have the ability to feel. Through neural emotions, yeah, ow, oh, ooh, ooh, and that. But hey, love ain't not in the physical form. It's in the astral form. That's your creative form. That's the world of color, beauty. That's the 1,000-petal lotus I talk about. That's the world of beauty. But that all drives thought.
Exactly.
And then
So then how can people tune in to themselves? I know we spoke about that before, but
yeah, first of all, and I'm saying this to you, is you have to spend time by yourself. You want to spend time alone, and then take a walk in a mall, go walk to the beach, go walk down a path in the woods, and just start watching and listening within yourself. See if you can hear anything within yourself. Just like you're watching and observing everything, looking at the tree. No thought, that tree. No, I didn't want the mind in there. I'm just looking at that tree for what it is. I don't want a thought that it's a tree. I want to see the tree for what it is. And I can't see the tree if my mind has already defined it as a tree. And I can't see it for what it is because my mind has already defined it. And that definition is based upon conditions, conditioned thinking from who knows how many lifetimes you've been journeying in these lower worlds. So you really want to experience something for what it is, you have to move into the consciousness of it. Same thing with the foods and everything. If you want to know the power of fruit, you can move into the consciousness of it. And it's just amazingly different than.
So then that's a good segue into the next question. Why are fruits the pathway to the divine? Is it the frequencies?
I just think it's I do. I think it's the frequency and it's the neural food. And the nervous system it's everything. It's your communication highway within the physical body. And you know the eye, how we read the eye from that, autonomic nerve response shown up in your iris. I mean, and it's just, it keeps going deeper and deeper in that world. But then take the physical side out of it. Now you're just sat there. I'm looking at your astral body, you in your astral body, which is very similar to this body, believe it or not, but so much more beautiful. If you've ever seen what you're seeing that now, well, we can talk about it, I guess, but the physical world's energies are being stirred up and brought into the lower astral worlds. So you're seeing a lot more of these flying things, but also beings from other worlds. They call them ghosts, stuff like that. You know, all these shows on like all that. Well, start understanding these are beings just like you. They have a body just like you. They just don't have their physical body.
Yeah.
We've got people in this room right now. I don't know if you're aware of that. So you've got to understand that there's always out-of-body beings that are around, always. This lady always, when her dogs died or cats died, she'd always have them all around her house in their astral bodies. Very psychic lady. Yeah. But all her animals were still there. They'd always run around her and everything, but they were in their astral bodies. They weren't in their physical bodies.
Well, do you know who Dolores Cannon is? Dolores Cannon.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I took her class to learn quantum healing hypnotherapy. And I've regressed some people back and I've spoken to their subconscious. And it's amazing because they're going back to lives where they're seeing reptilian people on planets destroying their planet.
Crap.
Yeah. And
that's scary.
It is scary.
But it's true.
It's a thing that's just insane that these people, some will come back on different planets and like tell me their whole lives there. But what's interesting is when you get to the subconscious part, after we explore their past life, the subconscious, when you speak with it, it always talks in the third person because it's collective, but it's able to heal the body instantly. And I just can't wrap my head around that because we use food. So I'm thinking, it uses a white light energy and it fills the body with energy. Is it something where it's resetting everything? Or like, how does that work?
So if you looked at matter, matter is just frequencies of electromagnetic energy. Yeah. And then quantum physics said when you bust the atom, you bust all that, and you look at it, pure energy. The quantum name for pure energy is intelligence. Yeah. So you start to realize that intelligence starts from from the mental intelligence, starts from all your experiences. But there's so many people that make claim to the white light and all this sort of thing. I just tell you what I know. Yeah. You're not going to get a healing like that as a rule. That's not in the scheme of things. Okay. No one's going to walk right up. In some of these inner worlds and these wisdom temples and stuff, you walk into the light, it's for knowledge and awareness. You don't read books. You get it through the light coming through you. You don't read books on the inner planes. Right. But it's a lot different. But that is a culmination. If you looked at and use the word spirit, the prana, the life force, that's obviously the breath. I don't see it any different than God itself, to be honest with you, because nothing's outside of that. Right. So I don't know. You get total healing, and I've never seen people do that. You might maybe get a little healing from increased energy
Okay.
flows and stuff like that, and get the darshan from a master or something might give some good
Oh,
healing in
that's
the body.
cool.
And there
Yeah.
might have been some good healing out there, but don't expect it. That's not what
Okay.
the gig is here. The gig
That's
is for you
yeah.
to help me to fix myself. No. And the same thing with a master. You were hooked with a good master. Oh, watch that hole right there. Because if you step in it, you're going to fall.
Yeah.
I'm not going to step in the hole for you. So when you think master, and you hear stories like this, master's going to take on your karma. Listen, all this stuff comes out of the dungeons of some of these temples and stuff like that. Not going to happen.
Okay.
You have to.
How do you get hooked with the master? Because I've been asking. I know you have to ask, and
That's a good
I see
question.
synchronicities, but I'm like,
I've looked at the Kirpal Singh, and
yeah.
I was looking at the different levels of yogas. And Shabda Yoga to me is the highest yoga system because it recognizes Sat Nam. Sat Nam is the
Okay.
first level of pure consciousness, and it's defined down here as Sat Nam region. It's in the Upanishad. I mean, it's in the
Bhagavad Gita.
it should be in all of them,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to think of the Sanskrit and the old Sanskrit writings and stuff like this.
Dead Sea
Because you can get into
Scrolls.
some of these old names that are into old Sanskrit, meaning that they've been using these,
Oh,
like the hue and some of the Om and some of these things are in old Sanskrit writing. Those are cool stuff. Then there's some bearing on history
yeah.
that's coming up through this.
Wow.
But in reality, you are the one and the only one.
Yeah.
And if you look to someone else for your healing, not going to happen. And it's a false way of you're trying to push what you've created onto someone else to take care of your own responsibility. It just doesn't happen that way. You are responsible for every
Yeah.
action and reaction you have, and whether you like it or
That's
not.
true. I have most times when I ask the subconscious to do the healing, it'll say I can't do that because then she won't do the work that she has to do. Like it's there
Well,
to help her
and
to help
I'll
them.
say this to her as a healer: be careful.
Yeah.
And I say this to all those individuals that play the psychic games: be very careful,
Yeah.
because right now there's a lot of beings that are sitting on, and that you named it and I named it. The reptilian community is coming in. You can't even almost feel them in you, and it's just unreal. These are very real. I had a medical doctor in Portugal. I had a clinic in Portugal for a while, and then a medical doctor come up with me. He says, "Need to talk to you." So he took me in the lobby and we sat down. He said, "You're from the same planet I am. We left this planet because we
That's
destroyed our
so
own planet
cool.
and we
Yeah.
came here." And so this started, and I'm looking at him going, wow. So it's pretty wild. Who knows what truth really is?
Yeah.
There's just so many aware levels, like the Venusian society, a society about beings from Venus. Wait a minute, Venus it's inhabitable,
Yeah.
but we're looking through the physical eyes at that frequency. And as we said earlier, we're talking about the different frequencies. And Omniconic talked a lot about the different frequencies and why you can't see them. But life is abundant on all these different frequencies. And it's like, wow. It just blows your mind because we've got how many millions now they discovered galaxies?
Mm.
Yeah, I've got one picture on my
Countless.
YouTube site of 120,000 galaxies.
Oh, wow.
Hubble. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just, the finite has a difficult time understanding the infinite.
Yes.
The finite can't fit in that shoe because it's infinite. So if you want to know what the infinite is, you have to become it.
Yeah.
So if you're meditating,
That's
you just let
true.
yourself go and fly through the air. Then, however
Yeah.
you learn how to get out of the body. And it's not difficult to learn how to have out of body travels. And then you can travel for different worlds. You can hook up with a master. I like the Eck masters. Like,
How do you
all right,
do it?
so I think the most important thing is get a book and start reading
Okay.
it so it connects you to that. I
Yeah.
try to throw out some names. Matter of fact, I have some pictures I'll show up on some of these masters, but the Eck masters in particular are way up there into these God worlds. The Radha Swami group, which is the Shabda Yoga group, they do recognize Sat Nam, and they're a pretty high yoga group. That's a high level, and they've also got into the conscious levels a little beyond Satnam. So they're a very powerful group.
Wow.
Used to be the Singh group of India, but
Yeah.
I these Ekmasters, I mean, and all I had to do was start reading the book and just put my attention on it, and bam, they're right there.
Okay. So how does one know that this is their last life here? That they're going to, and I mean, I guess you, because you can't just choose to not come back, but you can't choose to, so you can choose when you're up there, you can choose to come here, but when you're here, you can't choose to go, right? To go back into consciousness.
You know, it's
Because
funny
I
though,
do believe
because
this is
I
my
do the
last
same
run
thing.
here.
I always go here and there. You know, in reality, we're
But I
here.
guess it's,
We're always here. In
yeah,
reality, we're talking about our bodies
I guess the
outside of
body.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was the question again?
How does one know that it's their last
Oh, last
run
lifetime and that
here?
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, the more conscious you become,
Mm,
the more you are the ruler of your own worlds. And the more you pick and choose what you want to do for the divine. And if you let yourself being used for it, there's so many things that are going on, believe it or not, that these beings are channeling in creation. I don't even know how to even define that. I say this to your last lifetime, you'll know it, but you have to end the karma that you've got with everything here. And so you have to learn that to stop creating karma is to watch your thoughts and watch your emotions and watch your humility. Start wearing the hat of humility. Start understanding that you come from the same place everybody else does, and that some beings are lost. Some beings just got here and they're here to play and wreak havoc on this world. And there's some beings that are ready to leave this world. And if you're one of those are the ones that I'm trying to address, because
yeah.
you can only leave and get to where your thoughts were, where what you're talking about is the infinite. It's I work so much from the infinite. I don't even work from the physical. Like I don't think this way. I have to. I'm not coming back because I've ended all that.
Yeah.
And so, and if I have something with someone, it puts it for me. It's like consciousness. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just a complete in its totality.
Yeah.
It's and the more aware you are, you don't come back on either level. Remember, you have reincarnation on all your bodies. It isn't just
Oh,
physical.
wow.
You've got your astral karma. You've got your mental karma. You can spin in the mental worlds for eons. They're so gorgeous and beautiful and nirvanic. Some
Yeah.
of them are just, but then you have the other side.
Interesting.
Oh, and the astral world is so beautiful. I used to take our students to the Thousand Petal Lotus and stuff. It's so beautiful. But then you have the other side of the astral world. And I've been taken to prisons
Tell us
that,
about that.
oh, I was taken to a
Yeah.
prison in the astral world that only thing I know about it was that this is where your attitude is adjusted and the fear. And I was standing on this
Mm,
mountainside looking into this prison thing or whatever it was. And my master was with me. And the next thing I know, poof, and I'm in it. I'm in the prison. And the fear, the being, it's not like your physical body being incarcerated.
yeah.
It's like your whole beingness is incarcerated. I can't even describe it to you.
Yeah.
It just the fear and that, and then it pulled me back out. And I go, don't ever let me do anything that ever takes me into something like that.
Wow.
And I thought, well, maybe that's where some of these dictators and some of these people that are hurting all these people go. But all I know is they exist there, just as bad and negative as you can get, but also the beauty and the light and the colors is beautiful as you can get.
Yeah.
So you're going to get out of that creation, you can only be in the now. And there's no
Mm.
thought, there's no feeling, there's nothing there. So people say, well, that's a no thing state. No, it isn't. It's a very incredible bioactive state, but there's no definition of yourself. You've
Yeah.
lost definition of the little self, and now you're totality. And so there's you have to be ready for that. That's all I can say, because you get up so high, it's hard to get back here to your body, and
Once you
overwhelming.
once you experience that though,
Hmm.
how do you get back to those
It's hard.
points?
It's hard. I've been to the point where it said, if you don't stop now, you'll never get back. And I was just, I didn't want back here. I was expanding and expanding, and it was hard. It
Yeah.
was really hard. I was in deep meditation. It was hard. I had to do everything I could to pull myself from expanding.
Really?
I had to stop myself from expanding myself. I can't explain. I finally got
Wow.
myself back. It was like, holy shit, I get it. I'll go when I'm ready. When we get done here,
Wow.
it gets pretty wild out there.
Powerful.
Yeah, because this is a nothing world. This is when you're
Yeah.
getting into close to where everything is created,
Yeah.
it's much more powerful, much more.
It's like
And
everything.
you must be in control of that too. You know, that's another reason why, kind of like a young person going to school, you get trained and educated by your actions, and your own actions educate you. And then when
This
you
is
start to
true.
learn that it's your actions you're flipping back against.
And Candy.
Hello there. Can we hear
Hi,
you?
guys.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Turn your video on. Well, while she's figuring that out, I personally am really interested. We can't hear you.
Yeah, I have unmute.
Just
I'm
kidding.
not muted.
We can hear you.
We're good.
We can hear you.
Okay.
I'm just gonna ask him one last thing, and then we'll hop into Miss Candy Comer. She's in Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee.
Yeah, but I just want to ask you
Is that a
about.
cabin you're in Tennessee?
This is
Oh,
a
man.
barn. This
Are you an artist or something? You're doing some creative stuff?
is a barn woodshed
That's what I
slash.
thought. I was going to say barn, but I didn't.
We're building a bathroom. The walls are old doors.
I love
Legend
it.
Jimmy Campbell doesn't want to
Hey.
be on camera. Just it's Dr. Morse and Adrienne.
Well, good to meet you guys.
Parkinson's.
Hey, young man.
Stage.
Oh, now you're talking my
It-
kind of music.
Tell him
Plays about every string.
Let me tell him what we're doing over there in Tennessee. So next weekend, we're hosting the first Regenerative Healing Arts Festival.
Yeah. Oh my
Over-
God. Who's playing the music?
So that her client is a musician and a carpenter. So it inspired him. He has this 70-acre ranch, and he's like, just use it because he's so thankful. So he's been building all these little cabins and
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This
So-
is cool.
so yeah, he's
Yeah, I love music, so I'm a 12 stringer.
Jimmy is known for building log cabins in this area, but what's really cool is he had been on pharmaceutical meds for 4 years for Parkinson's, and they started him out on 2 a day. He had worked up to 4 a day. After he heard what I did, he wanted to experiment, and he was committed, and he's committed. And he, after working with me 1 week, he was off the meds.
yeah.
I am totally into the regenerative state.
Yeah.
Keep going till you get him.
Yeah.
There's no reason. And an older guy like that could have really good genes. And that can
Yeah.
be the cat's meow. No, be
Yeah.
the perfect thing for him.
Yeah.
If he's a strong gene man, you should be able to see more and more improvement quicker than someone that's a lot weaker genetically and everything else with Parkinson's. It just depends what his iris looks like, nerve rings, any lesions, and how big.
So you mentioned
So-
that, and then I just wanted, because I'm working with a client and he's younger, and he's not seeing a lot of stuff happening. And I just told him, well, it's an accumulation factor. Usually the people who are more toxic see things move right away. I just told him, keep going. He's playing around with
He's
fasting.
a younger person, or she,
Yeah, he's like 28.
28. It is difficult if you go on 100% like grape diet or a fruit diet. It'll be difficult not to have some healing crisis, but I've seen people that went months for it without having any cold and flu-like symptom or anything like that. And I've seen people go on it the next day and have them. So I don't know, it could be related to how much his lymph system is agglomerated. It could be related to all kinds of things. Who knows? But I'd have to see his eyes to show you what he's going to have.
So that has nothing to do with the toxicity load, or because he's had he's had
I mean, he could be so agglomerated. I get what you're saying, and I can assume that too. That you can be so impacted lymphatically that it'll be a while before you can hydrate it and get it moving out. It could be.
Jumped into
but at 28, immediately he's got kidney and adrenals.
Yeah.
Somebody that's 28 years old right now doesn't have kidney weaknesses and adrenal problems. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
And then the younger, even worse. So, I mean, look at these 32-year-olds. There she is.
It seems better.
Good.
You just stay put, Miss Candy.
Stay put, Miss
Stand
Candy.
right here. Yeah, what it was saying is it's 25 acres. This is his homestead. He was willing to experiment on his body. He's somewhat open-minded. He was a practicing Jehovah's Witness for a while. All right, so he's open-minded, and he's just, I said he's 73. Bilateral hearing aids, false teeth. I didn't know he had false teeth at first, and then I saw him laying over on the thing, and
look at all the trouble he's having up here, honey. Look at all the trouble he's having up here. And so this has got to drain down. I don't know if he still has these tonsils, and I could still have them, but you just got to get himself draining.
Yeah.
And then my hearing might even come back. That'd be what I'd be after. Not only the Parkinson, but I'd be just see if we can get his hearing.
Oh yeah, I'm after it. I already see that. A little bit deep digging is gonna be coming, because in the summer when I was getting watermelon and grapes, and we would have watermelon all day and grapes in the evening, he was singing and walking down the creek, and I've got video. Yeah. Oh, I have it all videoed, and like his that no stutter step, that and he was saying, he goes, "Girl, I'm gonna tell everyone I know." I said, "Whoa, easy now. Let's just we want to be nonchalant about this, and just kind of, what I mean." I've been saying, because already there's been some blowback, Dr. Morse. I'm not going to kid you. Mostly it's been the easiest person. I was telling you guys, I've never been a live-in, pretty much this is full-time raw food chef. I've only worked with people remotely. And what I can tell you guys is, now doing it and seeing everything and taking 9 years experience, what I would say is, what I suggest to someone is, if you have the means, take yourself somewhere for maybe a long weekend, a crash course, a week long, a 10-day, a 30-day, and then take a year and maybe travel around and find really good fruit. Go to the good fruits, enjoy it, and then maybe come back and be surrounded by those who have seen you so much and so often. Maybe those are family and blood, and maybe it's just friends, but there can be distractions, and these are real. And what I have to say to that, I'm on it. And what I say to that is, I grew up with people going into doing Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers, drinking Slim Fast. Does someone stand back and go, I'm really concerned with how much Slim Fast you're drinking. Are you really okay? Are you sure about that? Are you sure about this, Jenny Craig? What are you doing? Are you really okay with that? No, they just probably sit back and they just watch. I mean, they're like, well, that's what they want to do. Because it's a little bit frustrating and aggravating when really the long and the short of it, the biggest thing here is we've removed processed food, artificial sweeteners, because they're neurotoxic as a day is long. Salt, we got to get it out. He wants it to taste good. He likes veggie burgers. We're doing some of the, dehydrated things. Can't. 3 nights ago now, I cut corn off the cob, red onion, lime juice. That was a less offensive. The corn was starch is going to starch is stiffness. So but the mushrooms and the onions that I have in the dehydrator, it was even more offensive. I don't like mushrooms. I never have. But anyway, he loves them. And then so here I go with the sauce. And there were some offensive things in the sauce, like coconut aminos, right? That can't do it. The next day, he was so aggravated and frustrated. He was
I would
his
tell that. Yeah.
when I first met him, he would lay down about 2 or 3 o'clock. No more of that. He's up. He dresses himself now. I was having to help him put his shirts on, get his shirts off. He does it. He gets his pants on. I was having to help him. Jimmy is kind of a free spirit, and I don't mind saying this. This is going to be in a safe space. He sleeps in the nude. And, I'm a 55-year-old woman, and I know what my youngest son's dad looked like in the genitalia. And then I know what my last sexual partner looked like in the groin area. Okay. Those two men had very, this is going to get good, droopy, saggy balls. Jimmy Campbell, his nut sack, his ball sack is tight.
Damn.
So even within the gland, we can have varied weaknesses within that parathyroid gland. We can have varied weaknesses within, the endocrine system itself within that individual gland. And so that's pretty cool. His phallus, so he tells me, doesn't work. I guess he had some pills he would take if he wanted for it to get stiff for him, I guess, and that's so common within my age group. And I'm 55. And I'm here to say, man, you can leave your body with ease and grace. So many things too are intermittent. Like I look at my dad, he's 86 or 87. My mother is 9 years younger. A week ago now, they say her bone broke, so she fell. Her bone broke, and then she fell, Dr. Moore. She's in Vanderbilt Hospital. So now I'm picking up my daddy to take him to Vanderbilt to go back. Oh, they know they've noticed that he's a little worse after he drinks wine. He'll be a little more irritable and angry, but they continue to drink the wine. Come on now. I mean, so it's like, could we make it easier at least for everyone? Like, if you're going to choose to continue to put in because we've just disassociated with the chemistry that we're really putting in. And, that chemistry that you're putting in, if it's a Gatorade, a coffee, every sip, your body's going to go, oh, let me buffer. Let me pull a little bit. What am I going to buffer? Am I going to pull a little calcium? Am I going to leach a little cholesterol? What's happening? And I did the ultrasounds for 24 years, and you did the nuclear medicine. We know what's going on in these places. I watched the BSN who has spent tons of money and well too much time. Well, come on now. And to do what? To read a chart, to take instructions, to get them off the bedpan, to put some pills in a cup. Do we know about a healing event? Do they know anything about really cleansing and detoxifying the body? No, because what is on her tray, what I see is flesh and starch, high processed little country crock, butter. Come on, it's plastic. I was walking down the hall the other day and I was thinking, the allopathic Western treatment base might be one of the very top businesses for plastic consumption. I don't know. Do y'all have anything to say? Here's the flyer for the first annual Tennessee Apple and Music Festival. It's not too late, Dr. Morse. If you want to join us, we can put you as
astral body.
Exactly. You might want to let him know that the one good reason why fruit is so vital for his regeneration is that Yale discovered that the body is essential for fructose for nerve function. And that if the body has to convert an inferior glucose to that, I think that's why you don't see a lot of regeneration of nerve tissue, if anything, below fruit. But in the fruit level, it's easy to see nerve regeneration. And then, you're entering the wintertime in the mountains. So that's where it's going to be the hardest. He just has to keep himself warm because the goal, get his head turned around and he can hear, think, see all of the things better.
Yeah.
I
told him when I first started
as much as I can and just warm up with, say, herbal teas or something.
Yeah, I made him a good hot cup of tea yesterday because I told him when I first started working with him, I said, let me know when you get cold. I said, let me know when you feel cold. Well, he never did. And then one night on the massage table right here, I brought my massage table up here. I'm treating him right, working on his auricular acupressure, all the acupressures, Roseanne Calabrese. I was there with that. That's how I met Adrienne. He goes, I have a confession to make. I've been cheating on you. I cheated. And my cousin brought over pimento cheese made with Velveeta. So we had to start all over. So yesterday, 2 days ago, I heard a little bit, I'm cold. And then yesterday I got here, I go down to the barn. He goes, I'm going up to the cabin. I'm cold. And he goes, get me a blanket. I go straight. I make the Hill tea. I come, give him the Hill tea. And I told him, I said, give me a high five. I said, that's what I wanted. Because there's commonality.
Yeah.
And I know how long it took me. It took me about 14 days of being 100% all raw, no nuts, no seeds, like all raw, super clean. And then I started feeling a little cold. I was a little cold. It was July. I wanted a jacket. And that lasted for maybe about a week. Not long, just a little jacket, whatever. And then you're good. Then you're like, then you know that things are then you really start seeing some things, Yeah.
Well, you can watch the body and know where you're detoxifying by the symptomology and the different glands, like that one, thyroid, obviously. So when your body's going through a cleansing of that area, the performance of that area will be somewhat undercut. So, but then it'll come back stronger than ever before. And that's the whole group of it, And so it's a lesson medical doctors need to learn, but what would they do with it? Because it's a whole consciousness. They're in the consciousness of diseases, which is an illusion. It's just a theory that doesn't exist. And to have the amount of deaths, the amount of toxic chemistry, the amount of what you see in allopathy based upon a false claim is just regurgitating. And they've just gone totally to the negative side. You were talking about positive and negative forces, and you look at it even in the healing modalities. And allopathy is definitely, but within allopathy, you have the positive side. You've got the good surgeons, but you also have some horrible surgeons. You've got great ER docs. I was ER for years, and you got horrible ER docs. So you got the good and the bad and everywhere. But as a whole modality, they're walking down the wrong hole, wrong road. And it's, you can't kill people claiming it's in the best interest because you were just trying to help them. I mean, it's the whole thing is wrong. So the only thing that can help that is all of us coming together, showing how people are curing themselves very simplistically, understanding simple chemistry, understanding that the Homo sapien is a frugivore, and that just by going there doesn't mean you have to live it, but by going there, you can cure a lot of things.
Your books to come out about.
I know.
I know you keep saying this. I'm not going to ask you when. But I was wondering for her client.
In-depth book.
I know.
So
excited.
in-depth.
What single herb for the kidneys? Because I was telling her like parsley leaf, but what kind of tea should she make for him for his kidneys?
I have a kidney tea, but then we've got a new kidney tea coming too. And I've got a couple of kidney teas coming, one just for stones and then one for regeneration of the kidney tissue. But, well, you've got dandelion. I'm trying to think what herbs you got up there. Even a burdock leaves are great for the kidneys, but dandelion,
I grow comfrey.
Parsley.
I grow comfrey.
Yeah, my favorite.
Really?
I love comfrey. I don't know how much comfrey is for kidneys, but the old mountain name for comfrey is knit bone.
Parathyroid.
Parathyroid. And you take like you're telling me some lady's bone broke right off her mom.
My mother.
You definitely want to hit parathyroid, and you want to add something like but you're going after your mom's kidneys and her adrenal glands, and then hitchhike the parathyroid with it, unless she has a pituitary. You won't
she
take
don't
it?
want to. She's just fine, and I don't know what I'm talking about. And that's that.
Do.
That's where they
cracky, break. All right. But you know what? That's my point, is that each of us is on our own journeys. The lessons are there. And after a while, maybe not in this lifetime, but one lifetime, she will go, you know, if she's in the physical form, which you probably will, oh, I need to expand my awareness, because that's all this is. Even though it looks physical and it's about the health, it's also about expanding your awareness and breaking down all these thought forms and these preconditioned, preconceived ideas that have been channeled to us through the governments and all the crap, you know. So it's just breaking away. That's why I said about breaking the mind. You have to break the mind to get into consciousness, because if you can't break thought, all thought is conditioned. Okay? So you can't experience anything new through the mind. You can create, but you can only create from the things that you've created before and out of what you've experienced. Remember, the mind is just your computer board there. Consciousness, on the other hand, is totality. The nature of this level of creation, that you don't come here fully aware. You know, that's what you hopefully stop that cycle of the 84 reincarnation with, is awareness. And then you quit creating all the karma that keeps you tied to your buddies and everything else, because everything you do, you got to do from a detached. You mentioned Buddha earlier, you know, the whole, and I laugh at that because, you know, the dude sat under the tree, what, for 17 years, and finally got up and said, hell, I've had it. I don't care anymore. You know, I don't give a hoot. And so
Yeah.
that's the sort of thing. But if you look at all your experiences, it takes you to the point where you just don't give a shit anymore. I'm done. And then you're free from it. You don't care anymore. So why not do it before you get to that point? You know, why let the experiences rat you out to the point where you just finally let go? Let go ahead of time. And that's how you get, obviously, to the God worlds. It's just like you're going. You're being pulled to a higher level of awareness, even through thoughts and stuff, but through a higher level of awareness. You understand that's why you're good at what you're doing and you're passionate about it. And it's hard to find passionate people about this level of work, because you're right into your very desires and your eating habits, which are tied to your emotional weaknesses and strengths and all of that stuff. So everything you're eating is tied to your astral body in certain ways. And then your thoughts. So you got your cells and you got the memories of cells. So your cell memories of foods, cell memories of emotions. So everything you go through, each one of your cell has the same thing.
And that's a huge thing nowadays. So the fallacy of viruses, you can just touch on that, because you spoke about it in another video.
So when the COVID came, I started getting a lot of emails from virologists.
Mm-hmm.
And this one in particular asked me, how come that you don't hear any information from us, that all you hear it from is an immunologist? And these guys specialize in viruses. And you've never heard a virologist talk about it. And he proceeded to tell me, because my perception of a virus is simple. When you have a cell in your body that's beginning to, use the word die, whatever, the lymph stagnant, it's die, it sends out a messenger. And we call that a virus, but we call it a messenger virus, a messenger RNA. And that tells the body where to direct the inflammatory process. It's like in a communication highway in your human body. And viruses are part of that. Viruses supposedly doesn't live outside of the body. They're just proteins, and they don't live outside of the body less than, what, 3 hours or whatever, 3 days. It's not much. And so how they use the virus as a way to wiggle in, I don't know, you know. But you have different perspectives depending on whether you're talking to an immunologist or a virologist or any of these things like that. So when you see a virus, then you see the body's going through what? Detoxification, always. Some of the first people with the COVID came off of this cruise ship. The media was there and they go, oh my God, you're going to die, that sort of thing. And what do they have you doing? Go home, drink plenty of water, and rest. It's a cold and flu. You have to understand that your body has to let your body get rid of these things. And that's what viruses do. They open up your channels of elimination. And that's the way it helps itself. Someone else's virus, I don't know. You've got herpes viruses out there. You've got HIV viruses out there. You've got all these type of viruses out there. Some are man-made. The HIV is man-made, for no question about it.
What makes the different viruses then if it's just a cell that
These
is
proteins, they're proteins. But remember, everything has an awareness.
Yeah.
Everything does. Why do we use calcium? Because it does this, right?
Yeah.
It has an awareness to it. Same thing with
Okay.
zinc and everything else. There's a particular slot that it fills in creation here. Why we use calcium? That's its karma. That's its journey.
Yeah.
Same thing with viruses. Cells. Cells are just looking to survive. The body is a survival machine. It's just looking to survive. So it releases these things to initiate detoxification. It doesn't initiate it to hurt you. Comes out of it. And they were worried about these messengers, but in my opinion, the messenger is simple. It is just defining the area of the body that is in trouble, because your body then goes through the inflammatory response or the immune response. And that's not just immune cells. You know, it's interleukins. You could put almost anything under the inflammatory response, from edema to your interleukins and histamines. All of these things are in a process of increasing blood flow, increasing lymph flow, everything that opens up the kidneys to eliminate. Everything you look in that inflammatory response is for help to that area. And to me, viruses just direct the body to those areas. Outside of that, these are just proteins with a little bit of a consciousness.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Just like herpes, it's easy to get out. HIV, I've worked with HIV for years. It's easy to get out. If you have full-blown AIDS, but viruses are where? Are they in your blood? No, they do check your blood for them, but viruses are always in your lymphatic system.
Wow. You
clean your lymphatic system and out you go.
Do you have time for one more question?
I got, look at that.
Okay, so I just have one more question, then I don't know if she has another question, but this came from the community online. They said that they had heard you mention you would want to, if someone had a cold, you would want to get up next to them so you can catch it, just so you can initiate detox. And they were confused, like, oh, but contagions aren't a thing, so what is he talking about? So I just wanted, you can clear that up.
So the bottom line to that is, if you can catch a cold, you need a cold. Meaning that your body at a certain point, some people just can't catch anything like that. They just, there's a few, and particularly when you clean yourself and you have a fairly good lymphatic system, you're not doing the dairy products and all the mucus forming stuff, you're not going to jump into a cold and flu like too much that way. You're going to have more tissue damage in the body from agglomeration of the lymph system. But when you're consuming a lot of mucus forming foods, hot peppers, dairy products and stuff, you're going to fill your sinuses and stuff, and you're going to have the elimination of this coming out. So I've always said, if you need it, go for it, because you'll taste better, smell better, feel better, hear better, think better. It's always better. So people look at these things as bad things. They're not, because you're going to go through them sometime. If you think you're never going to go through a cold or flu like something, and if you can't, I'm worried about you. Because at the current diet level of humans, you need to have a detoxification experience. I don't know if anyone is so clean that they don't have it, unless they're one of us and they've been on raw for so long, and it's hard to get yourself into one of those. But initially, I've had people go in the next day into a cold and flu-like symptom, and I've had people that went 3 months and couldn't have one. I'm going, oh, come on. Because it's your body then, it's just, all right, I'm an elimination. I don't care. I don't want anything to eat. Let me focus on elimination. That's why you move up to the fruit. It's energetic. It's simple. It's got flavor, so it helps the emotions. It also has astringents. It cleans. And then you're happy because it tastes good. It's astringent. It cleans you. It turns on your nervous system. And it's just perfect for that sort of thing.
So then, as far as the contagion factor, what would you say to people who are like, oh, she got sick and then I got sick right after?
Yeah, it's there. Because it's like, well, the thought also is with HIV that way too, because generally you think of moving viruses around through fluids. Right? So kissing or making love or whatever. but I've worked in a lot of hospitals, and
Mhm.
one hospital had an orientation, and when you left that orientation, you felt airborne. Could be a problem, with HIV, and that's
That's what I'm saying.
unsettling for a lot of people when you think of HIV, only transmitted through body fluids and then
So-
possible airborne. So there's a lot of things out there that are not being truthful and stuff like that. And the only thing is your body's clean, no matter what's coming into it, it'll get rid of it if it's not supposed to be there, no matter what chemistry it is. Well, why do we detox? To get rid of bad chemistry, like neurotoxins, things like that.
Okay.
But he might not have any neurotoxic experience, and yet he might. But he's got limp stagnation up here because he can't hear all the things. He's got false teeth, the central nervous system involvement with the autonomic. So that's all lymphatic stuff. Whether he has neurotoxicity on top of it, that's going to come out with the wash. Neurotoxicity is by far the hardest to get out of the body. Excito, hemio, those are easier toxins. The neurotoxins are a lot harder to get out of the body. And a lot of them love to go upstairs. So you just got to have, your cold and your flus and things like this, and drain yourself. Got the body kick this stuff out, because the body doesn't want things in it that is not supposed to be there. It gets used to it. That's why you can train your immune system to, okay, you're there. But I don't believe in that either. I believe if your body doesn't want it, let it get it out. But they try to develop an immunity to things, and it's like, really, why?
Do you have any?
I feel like a lot of the things he was experiencing was since taking the pharmaceutical drug. And someone said that those particular ones have heavy metals in them. And because when he did have a scan, they didn't see anything on the brain. They weren't even really sure, to really diagnose him with the Parkinson's. He said one time, he goes, he was tapping me on the head and looking at my eyes. And he was kind of like, I don't know. They don't know. And so it's what he had was, he got to where he couldn't strum his guitar. Okay. So that's kind of what it started with. And then he had a shaking spell, like a real violent shake. That's all neurologic. That could be from a flavor that somebody opens up a pack to pour in their water. That can be artificial sweeteners. It's refined oils. It's junk. It's processed foods. It is. I know. I mean, it can be fentanyl. It can be the street drug users out there. It could be, it can be that. Any neurotoxin. So
could be.
Anyway,
but looking at him and his age, though, he probably has the kidneys, and the adrenal gland.
His brother, his brother died of kidney C.
See, so and that's still where you want to go with him. And
but
the
no
thing
back
is,
pain.
you got to drain his brain, because it could just be from his earlier years and stuff like this. And after time and agglomulation, you're going to start losing the function of tissue. And he could have cerebellum and stuff. So here's the thing: is get him on fruit, and then also sometime down the road, take him to a chiropractor, have him look at this. Does he diagnose with any brain lesions? What's his iris show?
We've already been to a chiropractor, active release therapy, a good buddy of mine in Nashville that used to work on the Titans and Predators. So we've been to him a couple of times.
Oh, that's good. Just so I know that it's straight there and everything is good.
Yeah. And his no brain lesions. And
how tall is he? He doesn't look like a real tall guy. No brain lesions?
No brain lesions. No. I'm telling you, I think a lot of it was pharmaceutical induced. I'm telling you.
Then you get his butt out of this, because you should be able to get his butt out of this pretty easy if you don't have any brain lesions. That's always the trick, is getting to heal up these brain lesions. Well, that's all lymph and acids, of course.
Yeah, it's good. It's been an experience. I love it. I'm very grateful. I'm thankful for you, Dr. Morse. Thank you for for sharing, holding your integrity, Dr. Morse. Thank you for that. And the backbone you have.
Hey, Candy. So before we let you go, I just wanted to talk. Can you say, so we're doing the festival, Regenerative Healing Arts Festival, next weekend, October 26th to 27th. It's in Mount Juliet. Tennessee. Free
Yes.
event. I'm going to be there. Some other practitioners are going to be there. And hopefully we do this next year. Maybe you'll come next year.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I'm from Indiana originally. And so Tennessee is just right down below us.
He's got to go. So let's say goodbye and
Relationships for next video, maybe.
yes, got to get into relationships.
You know, that's a good subject.
Especially trying to be
Because
raw.
exactly. And we had a pretty good conversation before we got on here, and touch a little lightly about that, you know, because it'll come down to you're standing alone on the edge of the universe by yourself, and you got to get with that. Yeah, yeah. And once you get with that and you're whole, then you look for someone that just has maybe a good love to them or whatever you're looking for. Maybe a partner that, you know, is soft and tender and loving, you know, that sort of thing. If you can find a male like that, something that you're looking for, you know, if you want some partner that, and then it's not a relationship based upon desire and all that sort of thing. It's just, you know, we're having fun together. We enjoy each other's company.
Yes.
I don't owe you nothing. You owe me nothing. And let's just have fun together and do, you know, that's the way relationships should be, in my opinion, because outside of that, look at them. I mean, it's the whole thing of divorce and everything. It's just such a mess. And then you have different thoughts on it by different religions. You know,
energies are very unbalanced.
Very unbalanced for the female. So I'm pro female and pro woman warrior thinker. So I'm definitely for it. And we were talking about that because the woman is the love, bringing forth life, all this sort of thing. But at the same time, she's used a lot for that. So it's like, then and then the males have their side they have to get with. They have to touch that female side. That's why they have to touch their feminine side, their love side. A lot of men, they don't know that side.
They have that too.
They have that too.
You gotta balance.
So we both finding the center, the balance, and then we're good.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. That was a video that I wanted to do with Dr. Morse to promote a festival, Regenerative Arts Healing Festival, that me and Candy are collaborating to do hopefully twice a year. So if you follow us on social media, I'll link it below. You can follow when that's happening. This past year, it just happened last weekend, was really awesome. We had some breath work, we had yoga, we had a lot of workshops, flower essences, we had raw foods, we had music, we had talent, and just a real great time. So keep an eye out for that. And at the end of the video, we were getting into relationships. So me and Candy are going to do a live, and we're going to touch on relationships as a raw vegan and why, first of all, we thrive in relationships, but second of all, the right relationship can either harm you or heal you. And so it's important to just listen in and see what we have to say about that. Once again, we'll be doing a live, so if you follow us, you can stay tuned and catch that episode. Thank you for listening, and namaste.